smallest form to the hugest animal. So each animal they differ or vary in their external appearance, internal structure, their behavior and their mode of living, and this leads to the diversity of various group of organisms, and this diversity can be well studied easily in an orderly and systemic manner. So how do we study this organism in a systemic manner? So this we call it as classification, that is the study of organism based on the similarities and differences. We call it as classification. So how do we classify the animals? So we classify the animals based on the taxonomic position, and this taxonomic position was found out by the Swedish botanist man called Carolus Linnaeus. Taxonomy is the study of classification of signs or the science of classification of the organisms. So this was found out by the person, that is the Swedish botanist Carolus Linnaeus. Next we'll move on to the basis of classification. So what are included under the basis of classification? So first one is the level of organization. So first one, level of organization. So based on the level of organization, so animals can be divided into unicellular or multicellular. So if it is multicellular also, so whether we are going to study, that is based on the cell grade of organization or tissue grade of organization or organ grade of organization or organ system grade of organization. So next we move on to the symmetry. Symmetry. So it is the plane of arrangement of the body parts. It is the plane of arrangement of the body parts. So based on the symmetry, it is divided into two types, namely radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry. So in radial symmetry, if the organism or the animal is cut around the central axis, so each part will be divided into similar halves. So each will be divided into similar halves. So example given here is hydra and starfish. Bilateral symmetry, say whether it is a frog or a tortoise, so when it is cut around, that is through the central axis, it divides into equal halves. So this kind of symmetry is called bilateral symmetry. Example, frog or tortoise. Third one in the basis of classification is the germ layer. So based on the germ layer, so it is divided into diploblastic animals and triploblastic animals. So diploblastic. So these germ layers are formed during the development of embryo, and diploblastic means that is the formation of two germ layers. Formation of two germ layers, that is it forms the ectoderm, the outer layer, and the endoderm, the inner layer. So usually this kind of diploblastic layers are the diploblastic. Example here it is given as hydra. And triploblastic, that is formation of three germ layers. So here you can see three germ layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and the endoderm. So outer you have the ectoderm layer, middle layer is the mesoderm layer, and the inner layer is the endoderm layer. So this can in rabbits. So next we will move on to the coelom. So what is coelom? So it is the fluid filled body cavity. Coelom is fluid filled body cavity. Fluid filled body cavity, so which is present between the digestive tract and the walls of the stomach. So here you can see that is the cavity present within the mesoderm layer. And depends upon the coelom. So it can be divided. Animals can be divided into three types, namely acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, and coelomate or eucoelomate. So acoelomate means no true body cavity, no true coelom or body cavity. So this you call it as acoelomate. So example, tapeworm, and next pseudocoelomate. Pseudo means it is false coelom. Okay, false coelom. So false coelom. So this kind of coelom will be found in the earthworm, and the coelomate, that is true coelom or true body cavity, and this kind of body cavity will be found in the worms. Okay, so next is the fifth one. We move to temperature. So based on the temperature, animals can be divided into poikilotherms or homeotherms. Poikilotherms are animals which change body temperature according to the environment. So when it is in water, it changes its body temperature, and when it is land, it can change its body temperature. And homeotherms, so usually they are maintaining a constant temperature. They don't change their body temperature. So such kind of organisms are called homeotherms. And these poikilotherms are also called cold-blooded animals, and homeotherms are called warm-blooded animals. Okay, this is on classification. So we have seen that is the level of organization. So based on the level of organization, so it is divided into unicellular or multicellular organisms. So next comes the symmetry. So whether it is a radial symmetry or bilateral symmetry. Then the germ layers. So germ layers, so it consists of diploblastic and triploblastic germ layers. So diploblastic 2 germ layers and triploblastic 3 germ layers. So 2 germ layers, that is the ectoderm and the endoderm, and the triploblastic, the ectoderm, the mesoderm and the endoderm. So next comes the coelom. So coelom, it is divided into 3 types. There is the acoelomate, or they have no true coelom, pseudocoelomate, or the false coelom, or coelomate, or the true coelom. Next, based on the temperature, animals can be divided into poikilotherms and homeotherms. So poikilotherms are the cold-blooded animals, and they change their body temperature according to the environment. And homeotherms are the animals, or the warm-blooded animals, so which they have, that is the having their constant temperature. So next we will move on to the classifications of animals. So animals are again divided into Animals are divided into invertebrates and corvids. Okay, so invertebrates are the animals which are without the backbone, so without the vertebral column, and these invertebrates they includes around 9 phylum. They includes 9 phylum. So the first phylum is phylum Porifera. Second one, phylum Coelenterata. Third one, phylum Platyhelminthes. Fourth one, phylum Ashhelminthes. Fifth one, phylum Annelida. Sixth one, phylum Arthropoda. Seventh one, phylum Mollusca. Eighth one, phylum Echinodermata. And ninth one, phylum Hemichordata. Okay, let's repeat the phylum. So what are the 9 phylums in the invertebrates? Phylum Porifera, phylum Coelenterata, phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Ashhelminthes, phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, phylum Mollusca, phylum Echinodermata, and phylum Hemichordata. So let's study in detail about each phylum. These are the organisms which are aquatic and non-motile. They are sluggish, they don't have any flagella, and usually their body is perforated with pores. And these pores are called ostia. And these pores are called ostia. And this ostia leads to the canal system. It leads to the canal system. So water enters into this canal system of the ostia and they circulates around the body, and finally the food and oxygen is also being carried out. And the walls of the body, walls of their body is called as the spicules. The walls of the body is called as the spicules. And here that is the reproduction. So coming to the reproduction, they reproduces by means of asexual and sexual method. Sexual method. So example is given from sponges, Euplectella and Cyclen. Okay, phylum Porifera, so aquatic, non-motile organism. They have that is perforated, their body is perforated with pores, which is called the ostia. Ostia leads to the canal system, and the walls of these canal system, they circulates the water. The water enter into the canal system and they circulates the water around the body, and food and oxygen is also being carried out. And the walls of the body are called as the spicules. Reproduction is by asexual and sexual method. And example given here is sponges, Euplectella and the cycans. Okay, so next we will learn about the phylum Coelenterata. Phylum Coelenterata, and this phylum are aquatic, they are freshwater or marine forms. Marine forms. Phylum Coelenterata, so they are aquatic, freshwater and marine forms. So they exhibit, that is, they are multicellular and exhibit radial symmetry. Symmetry is radial, and coming to the germ layers, they are diploblastic. Diploblastic, that is presence of, that is the ectoderm and the endoderm. So, and this ectoderm and endoderms are separated by non-cellular fluid which is called the mesoglia. Non-cellular fluid which is called the mesoglia. Phylum is phylum Platyhelminthes. So this phylum, they undergo bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic and acoelomate, and they form the tissue grade of organization. Okay, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, that is the formation of 3 germ layers, and acoelomate, that is they don't have body cavity. Tissue grade of organization. They have tissue grade of organization. So usually they are parasitic in nature. So what is meant by parasite? Parasitic in nature. So they that is they derive the nutrition from the living organism. Then hooks and suckers are present. So hooks and suckers helps in attachment to the host. Helps in attachment to the host, and usually they are hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite organism, that is both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same individual. Organs are present in same individual. So example here is liver fluke and tapeworm. Okay, phylum Platyhelminthes. So usually they are the flatworms. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic. That is the germ layer is triploblastic, and coelom, they are acoelomate, tissue grade of organization. Then they are parasitic in nature. Hooks and suckers are present in order to attach themselves to the host. And finally, they are the hermaphrodite animals. So both the male and the female reproductive organs are present in the same individual. Okay. So next we will move on to the next phylum, that is the phylum Ashhelminthes.